I have a very special guest today. I'm gonna start by asking them, who are you?
Hi everybody, my name is Melissa. I'm a fashion designer, a costume designer, and an upcycler. I'm from Chile and I live in Leipzig since 2019.
You are a fashion designer and upcycler. Can you maybe explain to the people what does this mean?
Okay, so probably you know what a fashion designer is, but maybe you are wondering what upcycling means. And upcycling is something probably a lot of people do without knowing. Is when you reuse discarded materials like trash and you transform it in a new object that has more value. And that is what I do, but with clothes.
Tell me a little bit about your artist's name.
Gallanegra.
Gallanegra. Where is this coming from? What does it mean?
I actually hate this question. To choose a name is really hard. And I actually now I'm not sure if this is the right name, but I think people love it, so I have to accept it that this is the name. Gallanegra came from this image I saw of these roosters. They are completely black, inside and out. They are completely black, and I found it so beautiful. And then also it's like a word game with my last name, that is Gallardo. And also because my Chinese zodiac is rooster, that is in Spanish is gallo. So yeah, something like that. It's a lot of meanings.
Okay, you told me that you were from Chile.
Yes.
Where exactly?
I'm from a little town called Gualañé.
Gualañé.
Not even Chileans know about this town.
Okay.
It's really small.
And until what age you lived there?
Until I was 14. Then I moved to another city called Curicó to study in high school. Mm-hmm. And then I moved to Santiago when I was 17.
And since when are you doing upcycling?
I think I started really young, when I was like 13, 14, because I always use second-hand clothes. And second-hand clothes is nice, but it's never fit into your body, so I had to learn how to fix the clothes for myself. So yeah, I think my whole life I kind of do upcycling. But officially I started my business on 2017.
And what gave you this idea?
I don't know, it was like a hard type of decision, because before I study theater. That is my official profession. I'm an actress. And I realized I wasn't a very good actress. So my ego was like, I want to shine. And I feel like, like I cannot shine in this industry because it's so competitive. And my, my colleague, they are so much better than me. So I quit. After 3 years of working in theater, I quit, and then I come back to my hometown in Chile, and I was like, okay, what am I gonna do now? So I decided that I want to work with clothes, with second-hand clothes that I will collect, and I have this very simple premisa, this very simple concept that it was, I'm gonna transform the clothes in something more beautiful. That's it. And I didn't know anything about, fashion. I just had the feeling of it. So then it was a lot of experimentation, and everything I know now after 7 years, I learned by practice.
So this, the main motive for this interview is that from the 18th to the 24th of November, it's the International Worldwide Entrepreneurship Week. Ooh. Okay, so all entrepreneurs are celebrated this week. What does this word makes you feel? entrepreneur. It's a very like word of our time, I have the feeling. What does it makes you feel? What's the word in Spanish again? Emprendimiento.
Emprendimiento. Wow, this is a really good question. For at the beginning, and I was not into that word at all. I didn't like to describe myself as an entrepreneur. I consider myself an artist, and that is a conflict that a lot of artists have to accept that you have to become an entrepreneur, or you have to accept that, because we live in a system, in a capitalist system, and you have to accept that. And actually now I feel really comfy about it. I understand that what I do is part of a business. It has some, for sure, artistic side, but at the end is a business, and I have to empower myself as a business person.
What can you tell me about the cultural difference of entrepreneurship in Chile and here in Germany? Because I definitely noticed a very big difference when it comes to the behavior that people have towards businesses or own businesses in Colombia, also the universities, and here in Germany.
Okay, I'm not sure if I can answer that question. It's really complicated, but I had the feeling that in Chile, everybody is an entrepreneur. Like, yeah, everybody has a little business selling candles, making drawings, I don't know. And here I feel like people is more afraid to consider themselves or to start a business. But also, I don't know many people, so I cannot say. But yeah, I feel like in Latin America in general, to be an entrepreneur is like a really good option, because life is hard. Life is hard there. If you have a job, it's not so much money, and life is really expensive. So probably if you have a job there, you also have an extra entrepreneur business, because you need to make the money. And I don't know, here the quality of life here is better. People have better income, so maybe there is not this need to create a business as in Latin America. There is more necessity there.
Yeah, so it comes from the necessity. You mean the need to hustle. We're much more a hustle culture. That's what I always thought when I was in university in Colombia. People were selling everything, like from brownies to lunch to hairbands to whatever they could get their hand off.
Actually, I also had a little business back in college. I live in Santiago, in this peripheric neighborhood where you have the best flow mart, and I was going there every weekend and buying clothes for myself, and then when I get tired of the clothes, I will resell it on my university. And I had a lot of like rich classmates, so they were like fascinated about this clothes. So it was a very good way to make money, extra.
And what do you think are the main differences about an artistic and expression, being an artist and an entrepreneur?
I feel like when you consider yourself an artist, you have more freedom to do whatever you want. And when you are a business person, you have to consider other factors like your clients, the market, and you have to put a price on what you do. And that for some people can be really hard. For me, it's really hard to sell my clothes. For me, I will give it for free, but I can't, because I have to eat.
Now, you were talking that you were also giving classes to people, doing workshops.
I love all my students. They are the best. There are people, most of them is people who have a little bit of experience, but they are not confident. They are afraid. So basically what I do in my classes is to give them confidence that they are able, that they can do clothes. And I feel like they all gain this confidence. So I can see my students making clothes after. It's really nice. But yeah, some of them for sure, they have no experience. But most of the people is afraid. I don't know why.
I also noticed that as an artistic expression, now that I look at your clothes, upcycling, I guess, it gives a comfort that you don't have to start from the beginning, you know?
Exactly.
Like you already have some pieces that are kind of done and...
Yes, that is also another thing I like to say to my students. It's like upcycling reduces the anxiety. Because a lot of people, when they want to create something from zero, from the white page, is really overwhelming because it's too many possibilities. But then when you have something that already exists and you only have to transform it, it's so much easier. You don't have that anxiety. And actually, I feel like you just need to listen or watch the clothes and they will tell you what to do. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's so much easier to do something with something that already exists.
You say something interesting. If you're doing something you love, keep doing it. Do you think entrepreneurship and this kind of business projects must necessarily be connected to passions and to some things, the things you love?
Not necessarily. Maybe some people can only be motivated by money. That is also okay. But I think it's more fun if you also love what you do. It's definitely more fun than only doing it for the money.
And how do you find what you love?
Money. Yeah, I actually do it for the money. No. This is personal. For me, to be an entrepreneur is what works for me because I cannot do other type of jobs because I'm autistic and I have a lot of special needs. So I know that I cannot have a normal job like following other people's instructions and respecting a schedule and waking up early every day. I can't. So for me, it's kind of the only option to be my own boss. So yeah, that forgot the question.
Do you think about the future?
No.
No?
No, because it's too overwhelming.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't. I mean, unconsciously I do, you know, I have some dreams and I have like a long-term plan. But it's really hard for me to think about the future. So I don't do it. I live the moment. Carpe diem. And I would like to say something before we finish. It's not to be independent and to be able to fix, repair, and create clothes. It's not only a personal benefit. It's something that is good for everybody because, as probably you know, we are suffering right now with an extreme overproduction of clothes. You know, there is this fast fashion businesses who are literally destroying the planet. You know, like there is landfills full of clothes and all the resources to make clothes that are like wasting, and we need to stop buying. We need to stop buying fast fashion. And how can we then relate with clothes? It has to be in a more circular and sustainable way with repairing, repeating outfits, upcycling, secondhand. There is a lot of option to not go to buy fast fashion. So this is my invitation for people listening. Start slowly. You don't need to make all your clothes, but maybe you can start repairing your clothes or buying sustainable brands like me. Yeah, that is my invitation. It's not just for you, it's for everybody, especially the next generations.
Remember, I'm gonna write down the date of this day, that the first time that you heard Melissa Gallanegra in the German frequencies was here in Radio Corax-Halle. Thank you very much, Meli.
Dankeschön.